Let's now speak to Hatem Bazian, who's lecturer in Middle Eastern languages and cultures at the University of California, Berkeley, and author of Palestine, It Is Something Colonial. Thank you very much for joining us on Al Jazeera, Mr. Hatem. So the world is seeing probably more conflicts than ever before, from Sudan to Gaza, of course. What does Ramadan mean this year in the face of all this global uncertainty and conflict?
For the American Muslim community that has been mobilizing for the past 5 months, focusing on Gaza, but also keeping an eye on Sudan and expressing solidarity and sympathy, we feel that a sense of trauma. Most of the community is mobilizing for humanitarian relief, for medical projects, but also trying to put pressure on the Biden administration, on the American political leadership that continue to give Israel literally open hand without any red line or limits. So this is really a traumatic period, even though that people want to spend Ramadan to fast, to reflect, to recite the Quran and open the mosque for services. But definitely it is a very, very traumatic period for the American Muslim community.
Indeed, we've seen American Muslims, those in the state of Michigan, for example, express dissatisfaction with the Biden administration in the way it's handled the war on Gaza. What is Ramadan going to be like? You know, in the past, we've seen the White House extend invitations to Muslims during the holy month of Ramadan. What is it going to be like this year?
Well, I know for a fact from my communication and discussions with the broader Muslim leadership in the United States that we're asking that mosques should not welcome politicians who have not expressed a demand or a call for immediate ceasefire, and anyone that continue to support Israel unconditionally by using this euphemism of Israel having the right to defend itself. We're saying that such political figures are not welcome in the mosques. We're also, if the Biden administration or the State Department or any of the major institutions are going to hold these annual iftars, we're actually calling for people that not to attend and not to show up because we're not for breaking the fast at a table that simultaneously continue to send Israel bombs. So we're not interested in a public relations photo op iftars, whether at the White House or the State Department, we could do without. Right. What we're asking the United States to say immediate ceasefire and ending U.S. military aid to Israel immediately.
Just looking at the situation in Gaza more closely, Mr. Hatem, Israel has stopped pretty much most humanitarian aid deliveries. There is starvation, famine in the north. And people today will have to make a choice between feeding their starving families or fasting. Just help us understand, for our international audience perhaps, what religion says about fasting in times of conflict or hardship.
Well, Islamic law provides the dispensation, or what we say rukhsa, that in times of hardship, you could break your fast. But in here, people want to express their spiritual devotion. They want to fast. But simultaneously, Israel is having literally a genocidal policy by intentionally preventing food, supplies, milk, medicine, basic necessities of life to go to Gaza. So we're having 2.3 million people literally starving in front of our eyes. I would not be a person to say to the Gaza that you should, as an obligation right now, to fast. But I know people will fast, considering the hardship that they're under. And we call for the United Nations, for the OIC, for all international community agencies to demand the opening of the borders. The supplies that we see, almost 2,000 trucks lining up on the Egyptian side of the border that have not been able to cross. The various crossings from Israel where settlers are blocking the road for these supplies to come in. This is a preventable genocide, if there's such a notion of preventable genocide. A hunger that is in front of us, and literally the international community is being impotent from coming to the aid of the Palestinians for no other reason then they are Palestinians.
Thank you so much for talking to us. Hatem Bazian, lecturer in Middle Eastern languages and cultures at the University of California, Berkeley. We appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.